U.S. and China first exchanged trade tariffs nearly 5 months ago. And so far, the airline industry has avoided getting hit. That doesn't make my next guest feel that much better. In fact, his company would prefer to see these issues resolved as soon as possible. This is an important export, and we are talking right now with the boss at Boeing, the CEO, Chairman, and President, Dennis Muilenburg, joining me right now. And it's great to see you, Dennis.
Good to see you, Maria.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I know you've been involved in these China talks. What, is it 1 in 4 or 5 planes that you will export to China this year or next year? This is an important piece of business, the U.S.'s largest export.
You got it. The U.S.-China relationship is extremely important to us. About a quarter of our commercial aircraft deliveries go to China today. It's a very important market for us. If you look at the growing global aerospace market, the world needs about 43,000 new airplanes over the next 20 years. 7,000 of those are in China. And here in the U.S., aerospace is the biggest trade surplus generator in the country, about $80 billion of surplus per year. And Boeing's business in our supply chain is the biggest piece of that.
And I know that this is the second largest market, the aerospace market for the company, for the industry, really. Yeah. But this is where the growth is. So talk to us about why there's the growth happening in China. I mean, billions haven't even ever been on a plane before, and you think that's going to grow your business even more? Yeah,
we see this as a long-term sustained growth business. This is the incredible strength of the aerospace marketplace. If you look at passenger traffic around the world, it's growing at about 6 to 7% a year, driven principally by middle-class people that are coming into the traveling public for the very first time in their lives. I think every year now we're seeing about 150 million new passengers in Asia, people that fly for the first time. And by most estimates, less than 20% of the world's population has yet to take a single flight. So when you think about the long-term growth opportunity here, it's tremendous. And as a result, we're ramping up commercial airplane production. We'll produce more than 800 airplanes this year, which will be a new record. And by the end of the decade, more than 900 a year.
Yeah, but I mean, what is the U.S. supposed to do that China steals our intellectual property, forces the transfer of technology? For example, China can't be that far behind Boeing. I mean, when are we going to see a Chinese jet maker try to compete with you? And did you have to transfer your technology in terms of jet making to the Chinese in order to operate there?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think it is important to note that aerospace is a globally competitive marketplace. Because of the attractiveness of the market, it's attracting more competitors. Airbus is obviously a big competitor of ours. We're seeing an emerging competitor in China. Comac, who is working on the C919 aircraft today, is also in our supply chain. So as we know, the model in China is we both compete and cooperate. It's important for us as a company to always stay a step ahead.
How do you invest and out-innovate when you also have to work with these guys and they want to know how you do it? Do you have to transfer your technology?
No, we don't have to transfer our technology. So we have technology agreements in place. We do cooperate in China. For example, we're just opening up a new 737 finishing center in China, which will take delivery of airplanes from the U.S. and install interiors for final delivery to Chinese customers. That's the kind of cooperation that creates a win-win scenario.
Such an important market. So how do you want to see this president deal with the Chinese then? I mean, I know you want this trade spat to end as soon as possible, but there are real issues, whether it be, you know, the theft of intellectual property or just opening up their markets to U.S. businesses. What should the U.S. do right now?
Well, I think it's important that we address some of those fundamental trade issues. I think there are important issues on both sides, but I also think there's a constructive dialogue that can bring those to closure. And I'm encouraged by the productive nature of the conversations that are going on. I think you've heard recently that President Trump and President Xi are talking. We anticipate that around the G20 summit there will be additional dialogue, and we're hopeful that we can come to a constructive solution.
Dennis, I want to ask you about a troubling story, obviously a fatality. 189 people dead after the Lion Air crash in Indonesia last month. There is an article in the Wall Street Journal this week basically saying that Boeing held back on the risks. The pilots did not understand the risks with the 737. What is your response to these accusations that Boeing is at fault here?
Well, first of all, Maria, I think it's important that we express our sympathies for those that have been affected by Lion Air Flight 610. And certainly our thoughts go with all the families that have been affected by those on board. We are fully cooperating in the investigative process. We're very much engaged and providing all of the information and being very transparent on that topic. It's important for us to fully support that investigation. And I think the real bottom line here, the key is that the 737 MAX is very safe, and we're very confident in that. Safety is a core value for our industry and for our company. Always has been and it always will be.
But was there a change in terms of this model, the 737, that wasn't articulated to the pilots at the airlines, that they did not know how to respond in the event of a change? That's what the charges are.
Yeah, the 737 MAX has some new capabilities that are embedded in it, and that's included in the training process that we go through. The airplane has gone through thousands and thousands of hours of testing and simulation, working with our pilots, ensuring that they have all of the information they need to safely operate the airplane. And in some cases, those new systems are designed to take advantage of the capabilities of the airplane. We've already issued a couple of follow-up bulletins coming out of the ongoing investigation, pointing pilots to existing flight procedures to handle the kind of scenarios that we're talking about in this incident. So we're going to continue to do that. It's very important that we provide all of the information needed to safely operate these airplanes.
The flight went down minutes after takeoff from Jakarta. It was good weather. What did the journal get wrong?
Well, I think what you saw is the Indonesian authorities have identified that there were some indications that there was an error in the angle of attack signal. This represents the attitude of the airplane in the air. And in that kind of scenario, the airplane has a capability to deal with that kind of data error. And there's an existing pilot procedure. We've provided all of that information. So this is information that we're being very transparent with, we're reinforcing, and as indicated in the two bulletins that we've put out, pointing back to existing flight procedures.
Are you going to make any changes to the 737 given the Lion Air crash? Are you going to be making changes in terms of the way information is communicated to pilots?
We're going to continue to stay very engaged here. Maria, I think it's very important to note that on a daily basis, we work with our operators and pilots around the world, making sure they have all the information they need to safely fly these airplanes. We'll continue to be very much engaged and cooperative in the investigation. As information becomes available, if there are improvements that we can make, we'll make those improvements. The bottom line is we are absolutely committed to safety, and we know with great confidence that the 737 MAX is a safe airplane.